So, hi, people, and welcome to the session. Hi, Roy. And today we would like to speak about some topics which I think are very like coming up now in social medias, and I feel that I'm very passionate about. And it could be interesting for you to hear about like women being authentic in relating to men and our part of the responsibility in creating healthy relationships with men. And I'm here with Roy, and I probably let you introduce yourself and tell us something about you.
So, thanks for having me, Ava. Really excited to be here. Looking forward to our conversation. I work as a relationship guide or relationship coach. Most of my work before has been with men. So, helping men, especially those who are like going through nice guy syndrome, suffering from a
Mm.
lot of nice guy syndrome, people pleasing. Since then, I've opened up my work to women as well. And there's also been a lot of like the nice girl people pleasing aspects also. So that's kind of a quick picture of who the people who tend to find me. And my main area of interest is to really heal the divide, heal the conflicts between men and women. Because I think in our day and age, there's been so much division, so much finger pointing
Yeah.
that it's really destroyed communication, understanding between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And like ultimately I'm in service of bridging that gap because I think when we heal the relationships between men and women, then we're in a much better place to help serve the world because the world needs it too.
That I have to say, I feel I have goosebumps on my arms when you are saying it, because I don't have anyone like around me like being like you, just to really feel this gap between men and women, and like really willing to like repair it. And this is really, I think this is where we connect, we both,
Hmm.
that we really want to heal it, and that we see what like how men hurt women and how women hurt men, and let's just bring it together back, like from a place of understanding and love. And
Hmm.
this is really, I think, what connects us. And I'm really like excited to talk about it with you, because I think we have this in common. But I'm a woman and you are a man, so let's untie this. And I want to hear like your like personal experiences, or where we can start, like how did you like develop, and what was your story from that,
Mm.
you know around relating to women.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like like the story goes for most nice guys, I was tragically in the friend zone pretty much most of my life. I had a girlfriend in high school.
Mhm.
And between that and now, so I'm married now. Between now and then, didn't have any relationship. Did not have
Mhm.
a girlfriend since that high school girlfriend. And I was very much confused, angry, sad. I was like, why isn't this working? Like why can't I seem to make relationships work? But these other guys seem to get women or get any women that they want. And usually those guys I tended to view as like, oh, they're like manipulative or they just want to use women. So I was forming a lot of inferior, superior ways of thinking to try to like cope with my own sense of inferiority and shame. That also developed later on into some genuine resentment towards women.
Mm.
Like because I can't seem to get what I want, uh, and I couldn't tolerate that. That's okay. Okay, well, maybe it's women. It's the bad boys and it's the women, who
Mhm.
keep going to the bad boys and they want to come back to me and cry on my shoulder. So I was building all these stories, and you've probably encountered some of these stories online. There's red pill, there's incel communities, many
Mm,
places where men are very much in bitterness. And then one day when I was meeting with my therapist at the time, because I was studying counseling psychology, well, he said, well, Roy, you're the common denominator in all of these situations. And that was a hard pill to swallow. But I was like, you're right. In all of these situations, what is the same thing? It's me. I'm the common factor in all of these.
it's hard way to learn, but yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
So that was my wake up call to really do deep inner work to like look at myself. What am I doing? What are my beliefs? What are the programs that are playing out in my subconscious where I seem to be repeating these patterns with women? How can I use that as a mirror to see what's going on for me? And as I began to do that work, heal my relationship with myself, understand my motivations, the wounds, how I started to relate to myself and then relate to other women and to
mm.
men began to change. So that's kind of a little picture of this
Mm.
journey for me.
I'm just like wondering like how fast was that like results to see how you relate to women, and also like because this is what I'm wondering, like how or what methods or what like what therapy was it, just like talking therapy or also body work, or how did you change your relating and your stories?
Mm,
Is it like a brain work, or can you describe that?
yes. So to your first question, it took many years.
Mm,
When I first began therapy, it was I think 2015. That was when I started my schooling. They require us to meet with a therapist. So that was start of 2015. And then I would say probably wasn't until sometime in 2022 that I arrived at more of a deeper peace within myself.
mm,
So 4 years. And it was a combination of things. So I worked both with men and women,
mm-hmm,
men's
mm,
groups, men's retreats, women, who did energy healing or breath work. So it was a combination of psychology, but also the body, physiology, nervous system
mm,
work. Understanding the psychology, like the beliefs, the motivations, was very helpful to understand the structure of the subconscious programs within
mm,
my psyche. And then the more body based things, somatic therapies, breath work, whatever, is what helped increase my capacity within my body and nervous system
mm, mm-hmm,
to handle more energy. Because I think one of the things that happened a lot for me, happens a lot for more of the sensitive, nice guy types. Our energy shoots up into our head when we see a beautiful woman, or
mm-hmm,
we're like, oh, I really want to speak to her.
mm,
The energy shoots up here.
mm-hmm.
We're not connected so much with our lower body. And you can tell me more yourself, but I think for women feeling that sort of anxious, like, hey, like, yeah, I want to be
Mm.
friends with you, like I want to, it
It's
it
like it's
creates
painful a bit for me. Mm.
yeah, it creates a bit of a lot of a push of like kind of I want to lean back away from this energy. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these different ways of working with the body was
Mm.
learning how to ground my own energy, to tolerate my own excitement.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was what helped me like relate to women better.
I can see that because I was thinking how actually I see like nice men around me in my surroundings, the men I met, and they end up in the friend zone, or what I see in common between them. And it was a lot about not being able to express anger, what I feel like being in the body and say no, or being really, I think it's all a lot about anger, embodying anger in a healthy way. And what I want to say, that then I feel that it is not only work for brain but also for body, as you said, to really I'm speaking a lot about anger because it was topic for me, to get out of the nice girl. So
Mm.
I believe it's also
Yes.
important for men to really, have a good relationship with anger, because then you let people cross your boundaries if you don't
Hmm.
have this relationship with anger. Yeah. So as you were speaking about that energy, about that you tend to be in head when, or used to be in head when you meet a beautiful girl and you want to speak to her. So for me, because to people who hear us, I also was like a people pleasing girl. I still feel that I have these tendencies. I'm just like growing up from that and know how to work with that more. So this I lost my word. What I want to say, that yeah, that I feel when I meet a guy, then like my energetic field also grows like this. This is like a strategy I have when I afraid to be rejected, not accepted, and when I meet especially new people, then I feel my energy field is like this, and I'm just like getting you, and I'm like penetrating that field. Also, I found out that I'm a projector, if you know human design, and then it should be even more penetrating. So this is what I feel as a syndrome of nice girl, that I also need to connect with my body and to feel, the ground beneath
Hmm.
my feet, and to do this body work, to really ground myself back. So I
Hmm.
this is something similar, I assume.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm curious, when you started doing some of this work,
Mm.
what were some of the changes you noticed in terms of like then how men responded to you once like you were shifting the way you expanded your energy to being more centered
Mm.
and grounded?
The first thing coming into my mind is when I was in a relationship, it works very fine, like almost really like magically, when I feel that I'm like attached on that person, like I want your attention, I want your energy, I want you, then the man like is not interested, is not like is repelling, is
Mm.
repelled. But when I do something, even if it's when I'm focused on my job, on the phone, on my son or whatever, then I get the attention like immediately. So this is immediate like change, which I can confirm really works well in this matter of working with my focus and the energy, where I keep the energy. Yeah, this is for me. And still in this 2026, sometimes I appear in that position, um, of like wanting attention from men, or when I go out, I feel, this is a nice guy, and I tend to go into the old patterns, which are being like playful, flirty, being more like out there. And I see it's not clicking with everyone. With some, yes, but it's not clicking. But I'm not now, like 2026. I'm not sure if they can feel something off.
Mm.
This is
Hmm.
just like my exploration, and I'm not going out so often, so not having so much practice right now. What about you, or how do you? But now you have wife, so
Hmm.
do you see something in also at home? If you work with that, like with your wife, I assume that it could be also changing, right? Even if you have a wife.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say because I myself, like when I was doing all these changes, I wasn't doing a lot of dating. So
You wasn't?
I
You weren't?
I was
Or
not.
you?
Yeah, I was not. I met my wife through
Oh
Instagram.
yeah,
I
yeah,
did
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I did
Oh.
not expect that.
uh,
I I've never used a dating app. That was something that was just very
mhm.
clear to me. Is like something about it. I couldn't bring myself to create a dating profile. So I convinced myself. I was like very stubborn. I was like, if I'm gonna be with a woman, it's gonna be because I met her in person.
Mm.
So of course I was very surprised that I met my wife through Instagram. But I was going to events like ecstatic dance or
Mm-hmm.
other community gatherings to really expose myself to being in the presence of women. And with ecstatic dance, that was one of the main places I practiced. It's like, okay, let's practice this embodiment. Let's practice this spirit of playfulness, um, asking for what I want, but also being completely okay if a woman says no.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
was practicing this dance and observation within myself. And what shifted was sometimes when I went to dance, I was very focused on I have to dance with a woman tonight. I have to be able to find a woman I can dance with tonight. Those nights felt the worst because I was so attached to a goal. Yeah. Uh, attached to the goal, not connected to the person, like, not connected
Mm.
to myself either. So when I shifted the intention, one night I was just like, you know, bluntly, I was like, fuck it. I don't care if I dance with anyone tonight. Let me just see if I can enjoy myself. Let's make that the intention. And I had a great time. I enjoyed my own presence dancing around with other people. And then to my surprise, a woman approached me. She said, "Hey, can I dance with you?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, let's dance." So that was kind of that was one of the main most dramatic shifts I noticed is that
Mm.
women could then, perhaps I guess felt safer or more
Mm.
comfortable to interact with me because there was some energetic shift. Like he's not trying to look for an outcome. He doesn't need anything from me. He's just there to enjoy himself. And like I think women enjoy men who can enjoy themselves without needing
Mm-hmm.
something to take from her.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking when you say that I can also recognize myself when I go out, and exactly I can confirm that when I want to dance, just being there, and I don't expect anything to happen, then more happens, right? Also the expectation and focusing on goal just kills the vibe. But I'm feeling there must be difference between men and women. When I'm thinking if there is a woman and a man, and if if um, if we like penetrate each other's energy or aura, then I think it's much more accepted from a woman. Like if you have I don't know if I say it correctly, but if a nice girl comes to a man and she has this, overall energy, I think it's more accepted by men because men want to take from
Mm,
women
mhm,
on, even on sexual basis. So maybe for my experience, because I used a lot of my sensual power over men, and I was so happy that it works and that I had the man I wanted, but I never touched the sensitive core. It was just getting them. It was very superficial. So I didn't have this touch of resentment so much,
mm,
like I believe men can have. If a
mhm,
man is
mhm,
more like going to women, then woman doesn't feel safe. But if a man is approached by a woman, I it's not very often that they say like go away. That's
mm,
my experience. But for me, it was important to know that to find out about myself that I'm romantic. So I want deeper connection. So I must do something about it. I can't just, use my sensual power and at the same time being anxious, because being anxious is my topic, especially in a relationship. Then I always end up with the avoidant man. So
mm,
there is something, it's like a mixture of being anxious but also having power via sexuality.
mhm.
Yeah, don't know if you have something to say to it.
Well, I'm thinking about kind of where we started in the beginning, like how we both connected with this desire to
Hmm.
heal the division between men and women.
Hmm. Yeah.
And even just talking about like the nice guy and the nice girl, like we both experienced those extremes. Um, yeah, I would agree. I think probably bitterness tends to be more the case for men than
Mm,
more so for nice girls. But it can happen because
mm, mm,
you mentioned in a message on Instagram, like you've seen a lot of maybe on more the women's side of Instagram, women talking about like manipulation and trying to get what you want from a man. Would you say that for you and also women you've seen or talked to, if they continue to find that they end up with the avoidant man, like they got with a man, but he's avoidant,
mhm,
consistently, there's that same pattern. Was that something that built up resentment, or you see it building a lot of resentment for women, where it's like, I'm always available. I'm the emotionally available one. Like these
mhm.
guys suck because they're avoidant.
Hmm. Well, I do feel a lot of, how to say, bitterness, not much resentment, maybe bitterness, and I think deep within is a lot of sadness in a part of women who are in this shadow feminine. I feel that they want to manipulate men, and they are not coming from the place of authenticity, but not much from a place of resentment, I would say. Like what I said in the beginning, that I would like to talk about women being authentic, because I
Mhm.
see a lot, really a lot on Instagram now, this high value woman, this black cat energy. And to be honest, I'm like, it's really not for me. And I'm honestly very, like, very disappointed or sad with amount of women who wants to really have power over men. But this is not sensual, it's more about, it's like a war, it's still a war, it's not the way to go. And this is my passion now, to really open eyes for women, that I've been there in a way, and that this is not a way how to relate to a man if you want a healthy relationship. All right, but as you ask, resentment, not so much, maybe bitterness, anger,
Mhm.
sadness, desperation.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
I'd love to hear more your thoughts on the black cat energy and how you
Mm.
like you have a lot of passion in helping women to realize like this actually isn't getting you what you want.
Mm.
Um, I would love to hear some more about that. Like one, what is the black cat energy, and two, why doesn't it help women get what they want?
Hmm. It's hard for me to define it. I never found out what is the definition. Just, feeling it and seeing all of the content of that, and seeing it how it, or feeling it how it feels to me, is that the black cat energy, black cat woman, is the woman who is like in her power, yes, but it's out of the balance. On, if we have this middle part is the balance, and then here would be the people pleasing girl, that the black cat energy, I think, is here on the other side, which means like I'm really feeling myself, and that's great, but it's on expense, I'm not sure how to say in English, on expense of a man's integrity. So it's like taking everything I want, but it's in a shadow way, leaky way, manipulating or using the power, which we know it works for men, and it works, yes, because I believe it reflects this this part of the brain, not this conscious brain of man, like, how to say that,
Subconscious?
yeah, kind of like that primal brain. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
to say in
Okay.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do feel that there is like soft girl which are lacking this integrity, and black cat girl which are lacking the integrity as well. And I would love to have it in between, which is like, say no, say what you want, but you can still say it in a nice way and in a respectful, loving way to man, respecting also his wishes, his boundaries, and everything. And it's also, for me, it's not, it's like a balance. in both of those energies. What's your view on it, on this
Mm.
black cat energy? Have you seen it? Like, what's your Instagram post, or what do you see on Instagram?
Hmm. I haven't come across too much of that just because I think
Mm.
based on the accounts that I follow and the algorithm behavior,
Mm-hmm.
that just doesn't show up too much for me. I The best way I could understand black cat energy, I guess based on some of what you shared, seems to be yeah, the women who maybe have some of a more standoffish energy, like maybe this is very confident in themselves, projecting this image of
Mm.
I am all that, I'm so awesome, I'm fine without
Mm.
you, but there's
Yeah.
maybe a standoff energy to it. Is that kind of accurate to how
Mm.
you felt it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say this word, but it's very, how to say it in a different way. Yeah, it says we are okay without men. We are, doing fine. We can make money now. In this
Mm,
time when women can make money as men, everything changes. I can feel it, and that's why I believe it's so much confusion, because we can make money, and I'm also a businesswoman, so I know I enjoy that, but I'm not attached to that, um, like persona, business persona. I'm not attached to the money. I like them, but it's not important for me very much. And when women attach too much to business, to money, or to rule over men, and I can do everything, there is no place for man. And then this is not creating a nice world together, right? And
mhm,
this is,
mhm,
and most likely I feel it's not coming from a place of love. I feel that uh there has to be some trauma,
mhm,
that men hurt them in a way.
mm.
Mm.
Yeah, so what comes to mind for me there is, yeah, I think there is a certain, perhaps happiness or joy of like, yeah, I make my own money. There's far more that women can do now than before. Right? You could ask all
Mm.
the feminists, and they'll say this is why we're
Mm.
fighting for why we fought for the things we did. But you're right in that, like, it does shift the polarity. It shifts the sense of men asking, like, so what am I good for then?
Mm.
And I I think underneath that black cat energy, because I've seen other people post these reels that are more like the memes making fun of it, where you could have the high powered CEO boss babe or the black cat energy. And oftentimes when they're posting this content, I think
Mm.
they're usually single.
Yeah.
So this is just my opinion. Doesn't mean it's the truth. But when I have observed, I'll just speak about women first. When
Mm.
I have seen women post on Instagram when they're single, usually it is with this energy of, yeah, look at my stories, look at my posts. I'm having the time of my life. Like everything is awesome. But when I've heard other stories, kind of like behind the Instagram theater,
Mm.
there are those moments of loneliness, those
Mm.
days of loneliness of like, oh, I wish a man was in my life, or, tears and all of that. And then once they do end up with a man who is a good fit, it's like suddenly their energy calms down. There's
Yeah.
less of the boss babe, less of the black cat showing up online, which men have their own thing of that too. Uh,
What
but
do you
I
say
just
about
found that.
men then?
What was that?
Oh, what do you, or should we continue with women first and then go to men?
Yeah, well, I'll just mention real quick. For men, I think it's like
Mhm.
when men are single, the posts are more like, yeah, go after it, fight your war, conquer, build, make money. And then once they get into a relationship, have kids, they calm down also. Like, yes, continue to go after your mission, but
Mm.
like remember what really matters, right? It's not about the
Mm.
money. It's not about the cars. It's like both men and women calm down once they're with someone
Yeah,
who's a good fit for them.
yeah, and
So,
then
yeah.
mm, please.
Yeah. So with the black cat energy, I think there can be some of that public performance, right? Of, hey, this is how great I feel about myself. Uh, but I would say there's is also a desire somewhere deep within to be able to relax and surrender. And I think when women are too much in that black cat energy of I need the world to see me this way because I want to see me this way, depending on the man she's interacting with, it can create that sense of, oh, well, this woman is so self-sufficient, then like why what what use is there for me to be in her life?
Mm,
And this isn't to say, I want to be very clear, this isn't to say that a woman needs to like be weak or have something in her life she can't do and that's why a man's supposed to be there, but it's to say that there's a welcome space, there's an opening for the man to step in of like uh there's a desire for a man to meet her instead of
mhm,
the energy of prove to me why
mm.
I should allow you to be in my life.
Oh yeah, and this is like, what do you bring to the table? I don't know. This is another phrase popular on social media. We could probably make a list of it, which really makes me like scream inside of me. What do you bring to the table? I mean, we could like fight forever, like or who shall bring what to the table. And I must I must say, like, when I started to really, how to say, learn about feminine and masculine, I really love to split it a lot. Like, this is men's brain, this is women's brain, and this is the man's behavior, this is women's behavior. But as I'm older and older, then I feel there are differences at the core, right? Like the biology, which we start with, and definitely some differences. But if you, no matter if you are a woman or man, really care about the personal development, then we definitely find a language we can speak to each other so we understand. And then it's more about the development of the person. And I would be interesting if you agree with that. If it's more about that development of that person more than the biology. If you understand, do you understand me?
uh Not quite. Can you say some more? I want to make sure I
Yeah.
understand.
um okay, yeah, I thought in the beginning that there are very high differences, men and women. I was so standing behind this theory that the biology is different, so the motivation, behavior, or in dating, how to fall in love, everything, men, women, different. And it helped me a lot to understand, to have better understanding how men behave, or why men say that. I don't understand it. Like, for example, men use more logic, logic thinking, and when a woman expresses emotions, then for men it's a little bit of challenge
Hmm.
to give a woman support, because often we want emotional support. Instead, it's a logical solution. This is like a very example what I can say. But what I want to say, that we can't apologize or make excuses that, oh, I'm a woman, so I don't understand it. It's more
Mm-hmm.
about how I care about my development, so I understand men. And then
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
men, if men understand this and women understand it, then we can find the bridge together, the language we can talk, and we
Hmm.
are not desperate, furious about our differences. If you
Yeah,
see that. Mhm.
yeah, that makes sense, and I would agree.
Mhm.
I think it's very um, elementary. It stays too elementary. That's part of a stage of development. That's fine, but I think to stay there is too elementary to say, okay, because I'm a man, this is just how I'm going to be, and I just need to stay this way. For a woman, it's like I'm just emotion. Okay, so let me be chaotic with my emotion. You know, you use the word personal development phrase people use is like inner union and outer union. You know, I'm super interested in Jungian depth psychology, or
Mm. Mm.
even like Taoist philosophy. So many different traditions in the world speak about the dance of the yin and the yang, or you could, so like Hindu, Shiva, Shakti, these different energies, masculine, feminine. But the idea with these traditions, like even if you think of the yin yang symbol,
Mhm.
right, the
Mm.
black teardrop with a white dot, and then the white teardrop with a black dot, and that
Mhm.
symbol is always spinning and moving. So it's like this a dance. We all have the yin and the yang principle of the energies within us. At least
Mhm.
that's how I see it. I know in the some relationship space, some people say men don't have feminine energy. There's no such thing. Other people say women don't have masculine energy. Like, yeah, I don't see it that way. And so this
Mhm.
idea of inner union, outer union, I think, is about that personal development that you
Mm.
spoke to,
Mm.
being able
Mm.
to understand each other. Like women have their intellectual, logical faculties, the masculine or the yang principle within them. They absolutely do.
Mm.
Men also have the capacity of the feminine and the yin, right? Or Jung would say the anima and the animus for women.
Oh yeah, animus. That I wanted
Mhm.
to use this word before.
Right. So I think ultimately, yeah, that process of learning from one another, inner union, outer union, it's about integrating these polarities within us. While, yeah, biologically, I would say, maybe biologically and energetically, men tend to be more in the masculine, in the yang, and
Mhm.
women will tend to be more in the feminine, in the yin. We still have access to both. Right?
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
man who is connected to his anima, who's integrated it, who's connected to his yin, his heart, they do very well with like feeling their woman or women in general. It's like, oh, she's needing something else than rational solutions right now, and he can meet her, and
Oh,
that's a
that's
beautiful,
beautiful.
yeah. uh
I've never met this, so that's. Mm.
yeah, it exists, but that's like the process of doing the work is required
Mhm.
to get to that level. um and the same for women. Like, they're, again, some relationship coaches, they're like very traditional. They'll say, uh, the man always makes the decisions. uh he, he
Mm. Mm.
he's the one who leads. And yeah, you could argue that, but it can be so extreme for some people where he's like, Because I'm the man, I'm supposed to lead." So even if his woman has feedback which is very much connected to her wisdom, her yang, her insight, or her oracle, people use that word, right? Her intuitive sense. If a man hasn't done the work to integrate that within himself, he could just dismiss that and say, "No, I'm the man, so I'm going to make the decision."
Oh yeah. And I was doing a lot of mistakes in my previous relationships when I kind of were in a place of knowing that, let's say, a lot of information about masculine and feminine, and I was saying to my ex-partner like, oh, when I must say I was desperate at the time, and I said, oh, but you are a man, you should be doing this. And now I know how stupid it sounds, like to really say you should be doing this. And that was that's the whole story, what I wanted to say, that I was really attached to what it means to be feminine and masculine, and split it a lot. And now I'm more connecting it, finding out that for me it was really important to also being to hold myself, because my pattern was to, I'm emotional, as you said before, that I was like saying, oh, I'm emotional because I'm a woman, and that's normal, and you should be okay with that. And this is not a healthy way to stand by it. Of course, it's nice if my partner is able to hold me when I'm emotional, but also I have to be okay. I have to be able to hold myself when I'm emotional, and not being like a child, like, oh, now you take care of me when I'm emotional. And this is actually maybe the newest pattern I've discovered about myself, to which came to surface, and it was really interesting. So more and more I'm getting to that also women can be, as you said, decisive, they can lead. It's a dance, but for me um it's still what I consider as healthy is that woman is most of the time in the feminine, and yeah, and men in the masculine. I also personally feel really good when there is a masculine man next to me, and when I can really soften, especially when I'm in the business. What is actually getting back to the topic about that business,
Mm.
and yeah, this is what I wish also women know, that yeah, a lot of how to say, the reason for being single when you are business is a lot of time that we lost the touch with the feminine, with the, like we lost the switch. We are still in that business mode with that very strong penetrative energy again. So this is what I discover about myself as well.
Mm.
We mix a lot of topics, so I'm not sure where we where we are now. If you remember that, then, or if you have something more to say.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, yeah, we went into a lot of different directions. I think going to the main thing that brought us together, right? The desire to bridge the gap of love
Mm-hmm.
and understanding between men and women. Where in your work have you seen like the most misunderstandings? Like you brought up the black cat energy,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
the very like black and white split of you're a man, you need to be like this, and this, or you're a woman, you need to be this, and this. That can create a lot of misunderstanding. I'm curious, what else have you seen as like
Mm-hmm.
pretty common places of misunderstanding?
Right now, I'm pretty overwhelmed by this feminist women wanting to be in power. This is what I see a lot, and
Mm.
it's really current right now. I don't know, maybe it's the algorithms in Instagram, so there are more and more topics. But this is really now in my life, and I'm still getting in touch with that also within my friends or surroundings. And I thought, okay, we have this era. I thought it's been like 10 years ago, not now. But maybe if you know that 2026 is this 5 horse energy year, maybe this year could be finally the year where we can get back to ourselves. And I hope so also in relationship can be like really a place to change that. And I hope that these women can find that this is not a way to create a healthy relationship. But to your questions, I don't have anything in my mind right now. What's in your work, as you said that you work with women,
Mm.
what do they bring
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
you? What's the
Yeah.
topic? Mm.
So the one that's fresh for me, and I shared with you in our voice
Mm-hmm.
memos, is I think a lot of women don't really communicate their desire the way they think they do.
Mm-hmm.
In her head, she might think, I've been very clear with my man what I want, and he just doesn't understand. He doesn't listen, he doesn't pay attention. And this is where like my job is to really understand, to kind of dig and ask the right questions. And I have found that what women hear in their heads or think they said or think he said doesn't always match what was said.
Example. Give me an example.
So using the nice girl example. So I was
Mm-hmm.
working with lovely woman who expressed that a lot of her grief in relationship was because she felt she was never chosen.
Mm.
So she would go into relationships with this subconscious belief of I'm not chosen. We kind of dug through some of the history of where that program came from, which was programmed in childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we need to resolve this program before you can get what you want in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't address the subconscious belief,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to continue, right? That's the part of your mind that runs 95% of your life. So we identified that, but we also identified how I reflected to her. I was like, I kind of get the sense that oftentimes you're waiting for me or you're waiting for somebody else to give you permission to maybe ask a question or give you permission to share what you really feel. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, does that feel true to you? And she's like, yeah, it does. Um, there's kind of this silencing of her own voice in her throat.
Mm-hmm.
And because that gets held back, the only way it feels safe to express her desire was more through criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes women do not express desire through actually saying, I would love this. I would love to see this and experience this with you. The desire comes out sideways. Why don't you love me? You clearly don't love me. If you did, you would be doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
That's
So
very
that's not
common.
a clean expression of her desire.
Mm-hmm.
The heart is guarded. It's not open
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reasons, subconscious programs, fear of rejection, many different reasons. And this is where one of the areas that I see a lot of misunderstanding. She thinks he doesn't care, he doesn't love her, he's not paying attention, but it's coming out as criticism. And he thinks, I'm not enough. Nothing I do is ever good enough. So why should
Mm-hmm.
I even try now? That's one
Yeah,
of the big areas.
I can confirm that from also my personal experience when I had troubles to really learn to express my desires and whatever I need, like my needs. And did it was a really heavy work for me to say like, hey, I need this and I would love to do that and it would be nice, blah blah blah. But most importantly, it's just not about that words, about that sentence. But what was hardest part for me was to really be confident and calm when I was saying that. Like being
Mm-hmm.
okay if he say no, being okay, like not being in this like please please help me, or being so attached to that um, wish come true.
Mm-hmm.
So like now I can, let's knock three times. I think that I can say quite confidently and in an easy way. And what I found out, what worked with when, I hope so, is that when I say it in a simple way, in a simple, confident, easy way, then it works very much well. Because what how women talk, it's sometimes like, I was thinking that we could go there. What do you think about that? And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we tend to communicate between each other like this in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Women, me and my mother, my sister, and we're so
Mm-hmm.
like careful to express whatever we need. So I can really confirm that. And because I have a son, and I'm still in contact with my ex-partner, with his dad, then I still play. I still have a place to practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you, Roy, like very concrete questions, which is bothering me or which is like coming in my head. And I don't know the answer because I think I don't have any male figure in my life who is really healthy. And when I learned to express my needs and desires in this way, in this confident way, it helped a lot. But still, sometimes I get the answer like no, and then
Mm-hmm.
silence. And I'm okay because I'm okay already with my energy that it's okay if he say no. But I'm wondering, and this is the question for you, um, how a healthy man responds to a need or wish for a woman. Like, of course, it's okay to say no. But the problem is that usually, let's say my ex-partner say no, but then he do it. Then he do it at the end. He wants to do that, and I feel he wants to do that. Only problem is that I came up with that idea. So he has to say no for being like maybe feeling out being autonomic,
Hmm.
and it's sometimes it's still like bothering me. Like, should I still change something, or is it just that man I'm talking to? There is some fear of being told to do something, being told to do
Mm.
something. If you understand, like, how would you respond, or
Mm.
how you
Okay.
respond to your, if you can say. Mm,
So let me see if I understand.
mm,
Your question is there is your question like you've been thinking, should you change something about the way you express or communicate it so that a man, let's say your ex-partner, um,
mm.
receives it better? Is that the
Yes,
question?
and that's also the question, but more like, of course, it could be also my mistake. But now I'm thinking, if it's just a matter of that person, of that man, that he's not able still to say, to be adult and say, yeah, yeah, that's not a problem, or
Mm,
maybe let me
mhm.
think about it, being
Yeah.
cool, and just give me a time to think about it, something. it's very often it's very often a no, no, what do you want from me again, or something like that.
Mm, mhm, mhm.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, so not knowing the exact context,
mm,
right? It's hard to
mm,
say for sure. What I will say is, I'm assuming you communicate it with respect and positive intention. Like, hey, I would
mhm,
love if you could do this. Okay? So
mhm,
assuming that, if he still has that reaction, or to, your audience watching, any women who are watching, who's like, yeah, I communicate with respect, like really genuinely, it's respect, and he still responds in kind of like maybe a childish or reactive way. In that case, it's not anything to do with you. So,
mhm,
you still have a whole other person you're working with, and
mm,
their own triggers, their unresolved programs, beliefs that could be triggered by that. So in your case, Eva, maybe there is some personal or like cultural conditioning. Like,
mm,
um, my my parents divorced when I was 8, and my dad is from a part of northern China where there's a saying. I forgot exactly how it goes, but essentially, it's like, you're the man. It needs to be your way, something to that effect. So there is this subconscious conditioning that that's how he should be, and that can make it so any
mm,
perception of a woman's input seems like a challenge to authority.
mm.
And,
Oh yeah.
this can be cultural programming, conditioning. And so that's where the reactivity can come up of like, no, I should have figured this out because I'm supposed to figure it out as the man. Like that's basically a man fighting within himself. It's really
Mm,
not anything to do with you.
mm,
So in those cases, like, my advice to women is, really do the only thing you have control of, which is you communicate it, with respect, with positive intention, honestly and openly. How he reacts doesn't have anything to say about you, but it's a mirror to what's going on for him.
yeah. Mm. But there's like nothing to do about it, right? It's
Mhm.
sometimes it feels energy draining for me to have this response over again and again.
Right, right.
But yeah, so I was just wondering if I can expect with another man, if I want to create a healthy
Hmm.
relationship,
Hmm.
then we can communicate more easily. And yeah, I hope so. That's what I'm hoping, that future man can be less ego, less
Hmm.
like, okay, my woman has a wish, and I think about that,
Hmm.
so just being easy. So I still hope, I cannot confirm it yet, and hopefully yes, that this could be a conversation. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I understand, like, right now you're, that man isn't currently here in front of you in a relationship with you, but I can say with certainty a mature man who has done that inner work, who knows himself,
Mm,
who has met himself on these deep levels, is not going to have any problem with that. It's like, oh, okay,
mm,
Ava has some feedback for me. Let me listen to it. Let me see, what what I can understand here. Maybe there's something I don't see.
mm. That sounds really lovely. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there, I think this is this feels like a nice almost ending to 1 hour talk with you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Is there something, what do you think, like audience can hear, would like to hear about this topic, making bridge between women and men?
Mm. I think my concluding thought would be, because I'm
Mm.
sure, like, we could have many
Mm-hmm.
more of these
Yeah.
conversations with expanding on many of the points we hit on. So my concluding thought would be, really be intentional about where you put your energy and attention, because just the way I see it, a lot of our 21st century is run on division, anger,
Mm.
fighting. You see it in politics, you see it in relationships, everywhere. It's like fighting for your attention to feed something else that ultimately it's rarely ever in your own interest.
Hmm.
So, speaking just about relationships, my encouragement to your audience is, if you find you continuously get hooked into certain content that makes it very easy to hate the other sex,
Mm-hmm.
use that as a mirror to ask yourself, is this how I would like to be spending my time and energy on a day to day basis? Like scrolling through comments or reels where it's just like, oh, men suck, or oh, women suck. Like, is that how you want to spend your time? If your answer is yes, then yeah, use your own free will to decide to do that. But if your answer is no, like, I understand this is really distorting my view of men, or distorting my view of women, and it gets in the way of having that relationship that I say that I want, then my encouragement is to, like, unfollow whatever those accounts are, or be very intentional about how you use your social media. The
Mm.
conversations you engage in with your friends, that's a huge part too, is your friend group has a huge influence.
Mm.
um,
That's
does your
true.
group of girlfriends, or does your group of guy friends
Mm.
continuously talk negative about the other sex? You might need to, shift friend groups, or you might need to challenge that sometimes. Like, hey, I don't like the way we're talking about men, or the way we're talking about women here.
Mm.
That is how, if we want to talk about manifestation and creating your reality, that is essentially how you say to the universe how you honor yourself as well. Like, no, I'm choosing a different way of being that is more in alignment with the relationship that I've been saying I want, that I've been dreaming about. So where you put your attention, who you spend time with, you know, what what seeds are you watering? That's all, like, sending out a signal to say, this is what I'm voting for. Like, am I voting for division and hate, or am I voting for, no, let's really understand and collaborate, mutual respect.
Yeah, that was nicely said. And there is this different part, if the people we talk to, they want to stay in this state of war or division, then probably we can't do anything about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I love how you asked that question, and if you say yes, then Roy and me are here, right, to guide women and men in relationship, and we'll be happy if you say anything in the comments, right? Or if you have any questions pop up in your mind, I will and Roy answer that happily. Thank you, Roy, for being here, and
Thank you for
hope
having me.
to, yeah, next time. right? We can connect again.
Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.